Hello everybody, thank you for joining us. Today we're going to do a face in a light source, and this is in two light sources. So this light source will be more faint and this light source will be really intense. Intense means that it will be a full-on light source. So what we'll do is essentially, instead of a face that is looking just straight at us, we should do a generic face that is going along, looking toward that angle. So an oval but necessarily positioned like this would really work. We could get some details going here. Let's images can be checked on Google, of course, for any type of generic face, but usually, if we have been doing this for a bit, we get into the flow where we are able to drum up a generic face fairly quickly. We're putting down the eyes, and we're putting down, let's give some face lines here going, because they will help. The chin, in my estimate, is a little too big there, so we're going to bring it up. Get rid of some straight lines here. Need to bring the chin up, and let's put some skin folds there. Some details around the neck. Eyebrows. Some eyebrows. And of course, at that angle, try to coincide those as best as we can. So what we don't have here yet is a head of hair. So we'll just put in generic head of hair. Some facial details. And there we are. So now that we have some kind of sketch going, and you could either follow along or you could make something along those lines. You could have your own sketch, which would be the best thing really to explore this particular angle of light. It's very universal. It is a very commonly perceived and very realistic angle to come across. So we are going to grab ourselves a slightly richer and more filling pencil, and we will get going on the tones. So light source is hitting here, but there is a faint light source on this side and at this particular angle. So right around the bulge of the face, we can safely start putting in some cross hatching. And every face is unique in itself. Every face does not necessarily cast the same amount of tones, the same amount of shadows around the curvatures, around the different features. This element really differs from person to person, from face to face. And right, let's say that the lip is turned going inward, outward there, inward here, so we have some tone here. So right around here, there's a, of course there's a bulge. Right under the nose, usually in most light sources there's a bulge that could even go and traverse into the nostril here. Sometimes it doesn't, usually it does. Right around the nose here. Tone falling in. Usually is more concentrated around here. When we talk about the tones, sometimes not so much. And then tones going right into past that eyelid, into the side of the head. This in our other videos, we have explored different elements and different light sources, and they should be checked out really, because we have according to the light source differently placed tones, which vary both in the placement and also in terms of the complexity. So let's say that there's the chin is like really outward here, so around the bulge we have a shade there. Around this bulge we could have a slightly varying yet comparatively uniform shade to this portion here. One thing is for sure, that it requires a lot of patience to go through an exercise like this. But once it is nailed, it is mostly rewarding in the sense that we are able to nail this kind of exercise better and better every time. So once the flow is going, another fact that for surely works in our favor is that the mindset begins to flow and suggest like different things for the completion of the sketch. And right now, for instance, the general idea is that anything that is away from the light source has to be put in some kind of tone. And that is exactly what we are doing here. Along with trying to, of course, it's also, if this is a quick sketch and it is not a project, and we are not basing this off any particular person or trying to gift a portrait to somebody, it is always different when we are doing a more detailed and structured portrait as opposed to a quick sketch. So if it's a quick sketch, some of the elements could be quickly jumped into and taken care of. So we have a not pitch black here, we have a light source here as well, but which is not as detailed as the light source here. So in that context, we will minimize the tones here somewhat and make it more a grayscale sort of thing all through. Let's go about it this way. Put that all in a grayscale shadow tone right there. Of course, right under the chin there, the shadow is to be cast, and let's say that there is a bulging vein here. So we will highlight that. There might be necklines and details into the Adam's apple. Now, all of the details will just like they'll all like keep building up. So let's say that if the person has another dimension on the forehead in terms of features, we would have to incorporate those as well. And keep minimizing the tone going that way, because that is our general idea. So just doing a quick blending exercise here so that it looks a little more finer to the eye. And then continuing to put in certain features in pitch black. Let's say the vein is like really bulging here, so we need to get the grayscale going there on both ends. Tone around the bulge of the Adam's apple, and then grayscale and dark tones to add here. perhaps some necklines like running there. I mean, that's again depending on the person, depending on the age. So we have this vein here, and we could actually do a little bit of that, and it would just stand out just enough, and then put in a little tone here around the bulb. That's to exemplify it's like really standing out. It usually doesn't stand out like that much. And then of course we have the head of hair, and that could be just filled in. In this particular exercise, we are not going to detail each strand of hair because we want to get all the good folks who are with us here going back to their work as soon as possible. So keeping the tone intensified right around here, somewhat right around here, while leaving it less intense in the middle. We will have to like smudge and like mix to make it more acceptable, and again lesser tones. Let's say there's some hair details showing like this. We could do that just to make this work a little better for us. And then let's say there's like a very well gentlemanly head of hair. You could just put in some tones right around there, around the curvature. And then fade them out, going toward the light source there. And it does work that way most of the time. And then of course right around here we end the tones right around here. In this case, in a head of hair like this. Of course, we could always manage like different angles, incorporate different angles even in this, but it would like mostly work like that. So concentrating the tones here. A little bit here, perhaps giving it another dimension right here. So there we have it. It's a quick exercise to put some tone down on a face in a light source that is a little more intense on one side, less on the other side, and of course we could keep on picking on detail as we go along these facial features, and they'll just keep building up in our head as we go along. But just managing something in a quicker time frame for a practice and getting there to get the general idea is I think this will suffice. So thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, keep in touch. Have yourself a wonderful day.